Fort Stewart celebrates Marne Week with competition.
A ribbon cutting at a new energy-efficient building.
Soldiers march home with their families at their side.
Welcome to this week's Marne Report. I'm Caitlin Kenny.
And I'm Specialist Jordine Matthews with 3rd Armored Brigade Combat Team Public Affairs. Our top story this week is a look at the first event of Marne Week, the Division Run.
Non-commissioned officers from across the division and installation joined in on a morning run with 3rd Infantry Division Command Sergeant Major Christopher Gilpin. The run down Gulick Avenue culminated in an artillery shot for each brigade as they neared the end of the race.
Some special guests were on the sidelines cheering on soldiers, including Santa and our own Rocky the Bulldog. The 3rd Infantry Division celebrated the division's history and heritage through a week's worth of ceremonies and competitions.
Though Marne Week was much about competition, its main focus was to instill camaraderie and esprit de corps for not only the soldiers who participated, but for the family members who attended. A 20-year Savannah tradition was continued as the annual Massing of the Colors ceremony was held at the Savannah Christian East Campus. The event honors and remembers active and retired service members and conveys the importance of the American flag.
Soldiers from the 3rd ID Band, as well as the 3rd ID Color Guard, participated in the ceremony. 3rd Combat Aviation Brigade Commander Colonel John Klein was the keynote speaker. Photojournalist Zach Renstrom brings us the details.
It's a privilege to be with so many that value the importance of service and patriotism. It was quickly apparent to me that I was going to be amongst family. And no matter where I go or the Sergeant Major goes, and all of us that are wearing the uniform, we are constantly approached by men, women, and children, most of whom we've never met. And we're thanked for our service, and we are grateful. But the reason our military benefits from such a grateful nation is because of people just like you. It is the fact that you insist that we never forget the sacrifices our military and their families have made in defense of our freedom. It is people like you and me that will make sure that we continue the culture that we have right now for our current service members.
We're thankful for the men and women who serve today, who put their lives on the line so that freedom can continue to be enjoyed by all of us, even those young men and women that are in here today that may one day serve.
We thank you for those who now actively serve and answer the call in defense of our great nation. We thank you for our grand old flag and the unity and freedom that it represents to those of us who live in this great land.
So I want to thank all of you, all of those that have served before, as veterans, families from all different services, not just for your sacrifice, but for also insisting that our country never forget that the freedom we enjoy comes at a cost.
Veterans find themselves surrounded by tigers on Veterans Day. Sergeant Dean Gannon is inside the tiger's den.
The Claxton Tigers paid tribute to military veterans on Tuesday, November 11th. 1st Armored Brigade Information Operations Officer, Army Major Stephen Gerber, shared some of his experiences.
It's always great to hear their perspective on things, and you know, there's just so much wisdom in people that are older than we are, you know, and talking to them always is enlightening and kind of helps put things in perspective.
Major Gerber also spoke to Tiger students about responsibility and appreciation for America and its veterans.
When, you know, you have something that's in your heart and in your mind that's valuable, and the opportunity to express that to other people and maybe get them to see a little bit of that and see how remarkable this country is and how we should be grateful for it. And on a day-to-day basis, we can kind of do our own little part to make the country stronger. There's a lot of people behind the scenes at every corner of America that make a difference.
Reporting for 1st Brigade Raiders, I'm Army Sergeant Dean Gannon.
The 8th annual Wreaths for Warriors Walk ceremony will take place December 13th at noon on Cottrell Field. With us in the studio is Bruce Muncher, the co-founder of Wreaths for Warriors Walk, who is here to talk about the event. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having us this morning.
So for those who haven't been to a wreath ceremony, can you talk about where the idea came from?
We got our inspiration from the wreath laying in Arlington Cemetery. My co-founder, Tony Justy, saw the wreath laying. He came to me and he said, Bruce, what about doing this at Warriors Walk? And that's how it started 9 years ago.
And this year is unique because the eastern redbud trees were replaced with the white crepe myrtle trees because of a beetle infestation. What is Fort Stewart going to do to incorporate those original trees during the ceremony?
What has happened, I mean, because of the beetle infestation, they all had to be replaced, all 468 trees. What's going to happen with all the trees now being replaced, the night before, on the 12th of December, there is going to be a tree burning ceremony at Cottrell Field. A platform is being built and the trees will be stacked on them, but not all of them at that point, because you would be able to see it all the way to Savannah. And then the ashes from the original trees will be strewn throughout the new trees at Warriors Walk.
What will attendees be helping with on Warriors Walk?
Our guests of honor are the family members, okay? Incorporated to make the ceremony a success. I mean, we have the VVA, we have the Junior ROTC, we have the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, all working together to make it happen. And if you actually take a look at the semblance of that, that's our future and our past working together cohesively to make it happen. And it's come across quite well. The young people, they learn from the VVA, and the VVA can give some of that old-timer expertise to those young ones, and so they work together.
And what's the course of the events? Like how does it start and then how will it end?
Okay. Early that morning, we actually have over at Jordan Gym, we have the family members sequestered. We have a luncheon for them, only for those family members that are in attendance. And in years past, we've had as many as 150 family members fly in from around the country, from as far as Colorado. And they have a luncheon over there so they can see each other and greet each other again, because they gain that strength from each other because they share that common bond and that loss. And then we have the golf carts that will take them back over to Cottrell Field. We will have then the benediction, the singing of the national anthem. We have our themed poem written by a family member called Another Tree Planted. And then the family members are the first ones to go out and get a wreath. They go out. We've actually got, for those family members that we know are going to be in attendance, we have a junior ROTC member stationed at their tree with their wreath, so they don't have to go to the table to get a wreath. The family member will get to the tree, the junior ROTC member presents them the wreath, they salute, and then the family member lays the wreath at their loved one's tree. Then all of the FRG and unit members that are in attendance are invited to come out, take a wreath, and go to the tree and lay the wreath. And then everyone else in the community is invited to take a wreath and go, place that wreath, and then think of the sacrifice that soldier made for us.
So I also understand you brought something to show us.
Yes. One of the things that we did this year, because of the replacement of all of the redbud trees at Warriors Walk, we created a special memorial or memento box for the family members. And this is an example of what the family members all received. Letters went out, and if they requested one, we actually went out 3 months ago, and we cut branches off every one of the trees. We numbered them, and then as the requests came in from the family members, we would find their tree branch, and we would cut it into an 8-inch piece, attach it to this, and so the loved one actually got a piece of their loved one's tree. Yeah. I mean, we all hold on to different mementos. We all hold on to different things that make us feel special and still close to somebody. And then at the bottom is a actual plaque that has their loved one's name and everything. So they were each sent one of these. We're actually also, we have some extra ones, and people in the community have said, I want one, I want one. And so we have a few extras that we are selling. They are $20. All they have to do is reach out to us through Facebook or on our website. And we will have some to sell. You know, we can't do that at the day of the ceremony because we're not allowed to sell anything at Cottrell Field, but they can contact us.
And where can people get more information about your organization?
You can go to our website, which is w4ww.org, or you can go to our Facebook page, which is Wreaths 4 Warriors Walk.
Thank you, Bruce, for talking to us about this really special community event.
Well, thank you for having me here and for letting me talk about this event. Here we are 8 years into it, and 468 heroes. That's a lot to memorialize out there at Warriors Walk.
We focus now on the listening session that was held in Hinesville during a visit by dignitaries from the Pentagon. Brigadier General Roger Coltier came to hear what Fort Stewart and the surrounding communities had to say about possible soldier reductions at the installation. Our own Caitlin Kenny captured the community's opinion.
It is critically important to let the Army know what we think about Fort Stewart, the military installations here on our Army airfield, and our military community.
Well, we want to hear from the people of the community surrounding Fort Stewart. We want to get their feedback. We want to know what their soldiers mean to them. I mean, in this public comment period, this listening session is about understanding the impact of potential reductions on the community and getting their feedback and hearing their voice. You know, Washington, D.C. is a long way from Fort Stewart, and so coming down here is important so we can get their perspective and hear from them.
Because I feel it's wrong to cut the military. I'm a veteran, a Vietnam veteran, and I support the military 100%. And it's just wrong to cut the military. We should be making our military stronger rather than weaker. The enemy right now is watching all of this, and they're looking for one little loophole, and they will destroy our country if we're not careful. So we need to strengthen our military, not weaken it.
Well, I see the importance of Fort Stewart being here in this local community, and just wanted to show my support by being here. That's why I work there. I work out on Fort Stewart, but that's just part of it. The support that the communities, and I've heard that off and on all through this evening, just in the conversation, the comments that people are making, it's a team effort. Hinesville, Liberty County has a lot to give to the Fort Stewart community, and Fort Stewart has a lot to give to the Hinesville community. I think it's a two-way street.
We are one family. We're Army strong. Don't take this away. We know it's not sometimes out of your hands, and it's up to Washington, but help us to stay together.
When you come into this community, you quickly learn that you're entering the territory of the finest group of soldiers that the Army could produce. Fort Stewart, Georgia, the home of the 3rd Infantry Division. And tonight, I didn't come here to beg or to plead, because I simply believe that God's will be done. Amen. However, I do want to remind you that there's no place like home.
Appreciate the Army. We appreciate all that you do for us, and we really, really thank you. But the state of Georgia supports Fort Stewart Hunter. I will go to battle with my friends from Fort Benning and from Fort Gordon. They are fine posts, but they ain't Fort Stewart.
We'll be gathering this all up, we'll be packaging it up, we'll be presented to the senior leaders of the Army, General Ray Odierno, the Chief of Staff, and then the Secretary of the Army. This will be all part of a package that goes to them and helps them in their decision making. We as the Army have to plan to potentially go down to as low as 420,000 soldiers if full sequestration is realized. And so these listening sessions are important so we understand, the granular level of impact should those reductions take place. It's very important, but we got a plan. It was really refreshing to see how much support came forward to support Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield. It was great to hear the comments, and the overarching theme was how much the local communities love their soldiers and how important Fort Stewart and Hunter are to them.
Soldiers and family members came out in support of a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the Charles P. Murray Elementary School. The facility is the installation's first energy-efficient rated educational building. Photojournalist Zach Runstrom was there.
1, 2, 3. Please reveal the sign.
Charles P. Murray Jr., our hero, Colonel Murray. When you know someone that's true, he is one of the many soldiers that served for you. Our hero, Colonel Murray. The U.S. Army drafted him in 1942. Even though he was young, leading he would do. Our hero, Colonel Murray. He stood by the sides through thick and thin. He was rather loyal to his men. Our hero, Colonel Murray. Defeated 200 German soldiers in the cold, and the pain he was in did not cause him to fold. Our hero, Colonel Murray.
Today, we pay tribute to Colonel Charles P. Murray Jr., an American soldier, a leader, and hero. Again, this is a special occasion.
My father has always been interested in service, and to be a leader, you must be a servant. He instilled in us to not only name an educational facility after my father, but an elementary school would just thrill him to death because he loved to inspire young minds.
I am excited about seeing our kids start their education in this new facility, which highlights our science, our technology, our engineering and math so well, along with our other learning objectives. And it really will get our children excited about learning. I believe that Colonel Charles P. Murray Jr. would be excited about that as well and see what his name represents here today. And I believe that he will be with us today as we officially recognize this educational starship in his honor. Your father, your grandfather, great-grandfather was a hero in many aspects, a hero of our military and a hero in our community. One who valued education and focused on mentoring our youth and ensuring that they saw the way forward, which was evident in many of his works after his time in the military.
He would be pleased that Murray Elementary School is on the cutting edge of green facilities and educating students. The superintendent told me that the building is built so that the students can see and understand and learn about all the various green technologies involved. And protecting our planet is a fantastic thing. He would be thrilled.
As we strive to help our students navigate through the 21st century and beyond, we hope to provide an environment that encourages them to be courageous, selfless, considerate, and compassionate, just a few of the traits that Colonel Murray embodied. His legacy will continue to live on in our school and through our students.
The safety of the community is important to Team Stewart. From November 10th to the 16th, there were 5 DUIs in 3rd ID.
We can do better, dog-faced soldiers. Don't let alcohol end your career. Have some Marne pride. Don't drink and drive.
Tow to Go, a service designed to discourage intoxicated drivers from getting behind the wheel, will be operating during the Thanksgiving holiday season from November 26th to the 30th. This service should be used as a last resort, and soldiers should always plan on having a designated driver. Call 1-855-286-9246 for Tow to Go. Coming up on the Marne Report, family members march home with their soldiers after a training exercise.
Welcome back to the Marne Report. Are you looking for some fun things to do with your family? Then let's check in with Molly Cook from FMWR, who is here to give us some information on an upcoming event.
Three, two, one. Hi, I'm Molly Cook, and this is your MWR Minute. Are you interested to see how your photography skills compare with others Army-wide? There's still plenty of time to enter the 2014 All-Army Digital Photography Contest. Those who are interested are asked to submit their photos online at www.arts.armymwr.com. Stewart and Hunter participants will also be entered into a local contest through the Garrison, which will take place December 4th. The local winners will receive certificates and will advance to the All-Army competition. Active duty soldiers, family members, retirees, and DA civilians are eligible to compete. Participants are invited to submit entries in 7 categories to include people, military life, nature and landscapes, animals, still life, design elements, and digital darkroom. For additional details, call 912-767-5145. To learn more about our upcoming MWR events, visit us online at www.stewartmwr.com or www.huntermwr.com. FMWR, we're your complete destination for families, fun, and fitness.
Thank you, Molly. Family members from 3rd Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team met their soldiers for the last mile of a 15-mile road march. It was then followed by a family day. Sergeant Bob Yarbrough has more.
Family members of soldiers in 3rd Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team couldn't wait for their soldiers to come back from their 2-week-long China-focused training exercise. So they went out to meet them.
Culminate every event in the infantry, we have to do something real big, and we did a big 15-mile foot march. Starting off there in China Focus, we walked 15 miles. Family members met us at the 14-mile point and walked in with us.
The battalion leadership, along with the Family Readiness Group leadership, decided that the soldiers had worked hard in the field and deserved to be rewarded, and that their families should be invited as well.
No, it was a collective effort. We do our FRG steering committee meetings every 2 months, and we talked about what can we do for the families, and that this would be great to be able to integrate the families into the last mile of the road march.
For 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division Public Affairs, I'm Sergeant Bob Yarbrough.
December is National Drunk and Drug Driving Prevention Month. Fort Stewart is committed to deterring drunk and drug driving in the community.
Several activities will be happening throughout the month to educate and inform participants on Hunter Army Airfield on December 12th. There will be a vehicle rollover simulation in golf carts with goggles to demonstrate driving under the influence.
And on Fort Stewart, they will be at the main PX during lunch around 11:30 to 1 p.m. to educate and distribute information about drunk and drug driving during the holiday season.
Take a stand against drunk and drug driving. Take a buddy and educate yourselves at these events. It could save a life.
In observance of Warrior Care Month, the Fort Stewart Warrior Transition Battalion held an organization day to give soldiers and their families information as they transition into civilian life. Elvia Kelly has more.
I'm here at the WTB courtyard for the GPS event for Warrior Care Month, where we have different vendors here for our WTB soldiers and IDS soldiers who are getting ready to transition out of the military. At the home of the 3rd Infantry Division, Fort Stewart is honoring the courage of wounded, ill, or injured service members and is highlighting the programs that help them learn new life skills.
Because we have soldiers with disabilities and they might not be able to perform the job duties that they used to do in the military, so that's why they're medically getting out, or they have different problems medically. So what we do is we have providers and the VA and things like that that helps them with programs to rehabilitate them to a job that they will be able to execute when they get out.
Following the Warrior Transition Battalion's Organization Day in observance of Warrior Care Month, the Soldier and Family Assistance Center along with the WTB partnered to host the Growth progression, strength event at the WTB's courtyard, and soldiers came to see what information they could gather.
If you're not injured, you wouldn't know anything about this, but once you're wounded and you're thinking nobody cares, you can come here and find other people, other soldiers that are willing to help you do what you need to do, and they help you get back on track to help yourself, especially as a soldier, because with me dealing with my issues and I have a brain injury, I needed someone to tell me I'm a soldier, that I have to wear this uniform. And I had to learn all about respecting the rank and doing what I needed to do. And then as time went on, I'm realizing that I can't stay in the military, so I'm about to get out, and they help you understand how you are to do that and what you need to do to improve everything that's happening to you.
Reporting for the Marne Report, I'm Elvia Kelly.
You do great things in uniform, and everybody at some point takes the uniform off and hangs it up. And it's the continuum of that service.
More than 450 college graduates reached another milestone during the 33rd DHR ACES annual commencement exercise November 14th at Fort Stewart's main post chapel. The commencement exercise was sponsored by the Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield, Army Education Center, and partner colleges.
Our own Staff Sergeant Aaron Knowles from DeVarty Public Affairs received his associate's degree from Columbia College in General Studies.
Out of all of my parents' children, I am the first to receive my degree, so it's a big accomplishment for my family. It's a big accomplishment for me. It is my first and will not be my last degree, so it's just a big milestone in my life. It's taken a lot of time, a lot of work. Being a full-time student and a full-time soldier is definitely a hard thing to accomplish, but it is something that you can accomplish.
Congratulations to all the graduates.
November is National Native American Month. Sergeant Dean Gannon spoke with HP, Chief Executive Officer.
We are a tribe, we're still here, we're still alive.
During that time, gold was found in the West and was found in the Black Hills.
Soldiers of all ranks paused on November 12th to observe the 20th anniversary of the congressional creation of National Native American Month at Club Stewart.
There was a lot of uproar within the tribe, which they fought back. All the tribes of the Sioux have banded together and fought back and defeated 7th Cavalry at the Battle of Little Bighorn. Since that time, however,
Apache Troop Humvee gunner, Army Private First Class Trevor Andrews, spoke about the event's theme, Native Pride and Spirit, yesterday, today, and forever.
We aren't what you see in the movies, we aren't what you read in the history books most of the time. Most of the time the truth is more grim than it is a fairy tale. It is hard living on a reservation, it is difficult, but currently today we're focusing on our children and their children just so we could try and make a better environment to live in.
Guest speaker and member of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of the Chippewa Indians, Ishpee Informations Technologies CEO, Mr. Noah Lesk, prefers progression over accolades. Ishpee's name is derived from the Chippewa language meaning to move forward.
Nothing's ever been about me. I just want to know that it's happening. If I can cultivate and someone else picks up the reins and they get all the credit, that's fine by me. It's not about legacy, it's about bettering other people's lives.
The service-disabled Navy veteran also remembers where he came from.
I have an obligation to go back and make their lives better.
Reporting for 1st Brigade Raiders, I'm Army Sergeant Dean Gannon.
To find out what's happening across Fort Stewart and Hunter Army Airfield, we turn to the Frontline newspaper.
Let's check in with Managing Editor Elvia Kelly for this week's news.
Hi, I'm Elvia Kelly, and I'll be giving you the latest details from the Frontline. For the November 20th edition, check out the front page story, where the division run kicks off with Marne Week, the Behind the Lens page, which is a photo spread and a full story, about the latest graduates from Fort Stewart and Hunter Army Airfield, and lastly, but not least, check out pages 6 and 7. In the A section, these spotlight our dog-faced soldiers as they represented in the Coastal Empire during the Veterans Day festivity. Marne Week was kicked off with a division run the morning of November 17th and continued with athletics and soldier competitions. Though Marne Week was much about competition, its main focus was to instill camaraderie and esprit de corps for not only the soldiers who participated, but for the family members who attended. More than 450 college graduates reached another milestone during the 33rd annual commencement exercise at Fort Stewart's main post chapel. The commencement exercise was sponsored by the Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield, Army Education Center, and partner colleges. Soldiers from across Fort Stewart and Hunter Army Airfield marched in parades in the Coastal Empire as they observed Veterans Day. But it doesn't stop there. Our 3rd ID soldiers, who are currently deployed to Afghanistan, celebrated Veterans Day as well. Check them all out on the front line. Join us on the Marne Report to catch the most current news and events found on the front line across Fort Stewart, Hunter Army Airfield, and online at our Frontline website at stewartfrontline.com.
Welcome back. In this week's Task Force Fitness, we're going to take a look at Marne Week. Specialist Matthews, I heard you covered some of the events. What did you see?
Yes, I visited basketball and football tournaments as a 3rd Brigade soldier. It was great to be around my fellow soldiers. It was pretty amazing. Some of the guys, you can tell, seemed like they were reliving their college days, you know, getting out there, running hard, catching a lot of the balls, dunking on the hoop, so it was pretty awesome.
And there's nothing like healthy competition to give brigades a chance to focus on soldiers and spotlight their talent.
Yeah, I love being here, especially being from 3rd Brigade over at Fort Benning, getting a chance to come over here to Fort Stewart to be around our actual Marne family. It's a great experience. That's all for this week's Marne Report.
You can watch the Marne Report in the morning at 5, 5:30, and 8 and 8:30, noon, and in the evening at 5 and 5:30, 9 and 11. Or as always, check us out on the web at stewart.army.mil and on Vimeo at vimeo.com/3rdid. Have a great week. Rock of the Marne.